lot of people don't know this, but within a successful e-commerce store, around a third of their revenue is going to come from email marketing alone. I've used a ton of email platforms for stores that I've worked on, such as OmniSend, MailChimp, and even ActiveCampaign, but nothing comes close to Klaviyo. I've used Klaviyo to generate over $35 million in the last 12 months alone, and I've helped stores scale from $280K a month to $1.9 million a month through the help of using Klaviyo. In this tutorial, I'll show you how to set up the platform and use it to drive enormous revenue growth for your e-commerce brand. The first thing that we do when we come into the store is we're just going to come down here, we're going to go to integrations, and we're just going to check that our Shopify integration is fully set up. Once you have this enabled, you can just go add integration and search for Shopify. You can see this is already enabled, but if this weren't enabled, you'd just be able to click in here, click one more button, and then it'll be able to sync all of the data across the two platforms immediately. The next thing you're going to do is you're actually going to come in here and you're going to find your core list, which is actually already going to be made inside of the Klaviyo account. You're just going to click over to settings, you're going to come to consent, and you're going to ensure that you have the list turned to single opt-in. This is going to be the main list that people subscribe into from your sign up form. So we just want to make sure that it's not on double opt-in, because if it is on double opt-in, what's going to happen is that right when they sign up, they're going to get a confirmation email, which they need to click. A lot of people are going to miss this. So a lot of our precious signups that come through our form are actually not going to become real subscribers on our list. The next thing we're going to want to do is make sure that we have smart sending windows set up and also that our attribution settings are correctly. So I'm going to come down here again. I'm going to go to settings. We're just going to click into email. We're just going to go into sender preferences. And we're just going to set our smart sending period. We normally do this for about 16 hours. You could do it for 12. Basically what's going to happen is that if you put on smart sending on an email, it's going to make sure that if someone has gotten an email within the period stated, so let's say they've gotten an email 10 hours ago, if we're sending an email that has smart sending on it now, that person who got the email 10 hours ago will not receive the email, so they're not going to feel like they're getting bombarded with messages. We're just going to click into attribution, and normally we go open or clicked email. We'll just put this to 7 days. That would be industry standard. We're just going to go save, and now your sender settings are updated. Now that we're back on the homepage, the next thing we're going to do is set up a sign up form. So we're just going to click over here to sign up forms. I've actually made a draft sign up form, which we can take a look at first. And really with this sign up form, what you want to do is you want to give someone an offer that is going to be attractive to them. If you have, let's say, high gross margins and maybe a lower average order value, 10% off is a great offer to do. If you have, let's say, a higher average order value and lower gross margins, you could do a dollar amount off offer that equates to maybe 10% at maximum. But if someone's going to go over that order amount, obviously the percentage of that discount is going to go down because it's a fixed amount. Maybe if you're a CPG brand, you could look at doing a free gift with purchase if you have something that's super small and is complementary with the core product that you're normally selling to people. We're just going to do a simple form, which is just a limited time 10% off. We're going to make sure that after submit is go show next step. This is going to go to SMS. We always find better conversion rates if we go email first, then SMS, and then move on to the success page like this. Another quick tip that's normally super helpful is just make this a Shopify code. Make it a Shopify code that is just a one-time use. Then you can make it so it's on the pop-up so people don't need to leave the website once they submit their information. They can actually just get their welcome discount right there. Now that our list is growing, we're going to want to hit them with some automated messages that are going to work for us while we sleep. Some messages that are going to help convert people right off the jump when they sign up for our email list. This means we're going to be sending them a flow email, which is going to come from the single most important flow, which is the welcome series. When we come into this flow, we're actually just going to use Klaviyo as template. When someone comes through here, they're going to get a simple welcome email like this. You can see it's going to have a super high open rate. This is actually our own newsletter for the agency. And really what we can do is we can set up a time delay and just put this to, let's say, 2 days. We can go save, and we're going to have another email in here which people can get. So as you can see, we just have this one welcome email. We're going to wait a little bit. We're going to send them one more email. Normally for our clients, we send around 6 to 8 emails in a welcome series. I'm going to show you exactly how we do that at the end of this video. But for now, this is just super basic, how to set up a welcome series. This is what it should look like inside of the account. Now I'm going to show you how to set up a welcome series. You're going to come over here. You're going to click create flow. Then you're going to go for your standards. You're just going to go here. You're going to select welcome series. We're going to hit create flow here. Now that we're inside this welcome series, it's actually a pretty good template. And I want to show you that if you're just starting out with e-commerce, this can actually look pretty good. So I'm just going to click on here. We're going to look at the exact email we have within here. Now this isn't prettily designed, but don't worry, we're going to be going through how to actually set up an email design template soon. Then you see there's going to be a little time delay. And as you can see here, you can put in any message that you want to. Next thing you're going to want to set up is what we call a browse abandon flow. We're just going to select browse abandon out of these ideas. Now with this flow, we also normally make it quite long for our clients, normally between 5 to 6 emails as well. One thing that browse abandon is going to do that's super cool is that because they have viewed a specific product, what's happening here is that Klaviyo is going to dynamically pull in the exact product that they're looking at. Yes, this is empty now because it's not pulling in a real event. But let's say if you were selling jewelry and someone was looking at a particular necklace, that's actually going to be pulled into the email. So it's going to show them exactly what product they were looking at. So it's going to be super relevant for them. Now we're going to set up an abandoned cart flow, and I'm actually going to show you a little trick that you can do with this flow. I'm just going to go here. I'm going to go to cart. What I'm actually going to ask you to do is to not take the standard template. I'm going to ask you to choose this one, the high value cart versus low value cart template. The reason we want to do this is because there's a certain conditional split in here, which is going to split up the flow based on the person's cart value, and you actually can't make it manually. You have to make it through Klaviyo's template. The reason you want to split this up based on someone's cart value is that quite often for your e-commerce store, you're actually going to have a free shipping shipping threshold. Let's say someone has a cart value which is over $100 in this case on screen. What we can do is we can offer them free shipping, because we're generally not going to give them a discount right away. These days, shoppers are quite savvy, so they know that if they abandon a checkout, that they're probably going to get a 10% off code, and we maybe don't want to give that right away. So for the people who are above $100 in cart value, we can give them free shipping right out of the gate, and that's going to really help our conversion rate. What I would recommend that you do is take out the discount here, keep this time delay here, and then you're just going to start with the discount from email 2 onwards. You don't want to give it right away. Like I said, shoppers are quite savvy these days, but it's just to show you to choose this exact template. The final flow that I'm going to show you to set up here is actually a post-purchase flow for after people purchase. Big thing we want to do is to thank people genuinely after they purchase. It's going to prime them to buy again from you, which is really where all the profit is going to be made in your store, by getting people to come back over and over and over again without you having to spend a ton on ad costs, eating up a lot of that margin. So we're going to come back here, we're going to click create flow, and we're just going to select another here, order count split post-purchase follow-up. The reason we want to do this based off of how many orders that they have is that it's actually going to help us communicate far more specifically to people depending on what kind of a purchaser they are. If it's their first time purchasing from us, we want to communicate to them a little bit differently than if it's their 5th time purchasing from us, because obviously if someone's purchased from us 5 times, they are an extremely loyal buyer, they are very valuable to the brand, so we want to make sure that they feel very valued by us. We're just going to keep the thank you emails. We often get rid of this time delay completely, so they get this right away after they purchase, get that sort of positive affirmation right after they buy. And here we normally set this for first time buyers, second time buyers, third, and then 4+. After 4+, they're super loyal. At this point, they're really a VIP for the brand. They're going to go into a more specific flow as well, which I'll talk about in another video. But here, the main thing that you want to bear in mind is that you want to have a clear thank you email in here. You can see with this template that I'm going to show to you, you can see it just thanks them for their purchasers. Hey, I'm one of the owners of brand name, and I want to say thank you for your first purchase from us yesterday. You can do this in plain text. It's actually going to seem like it's really from the founder, and it's going to give a very personal feel. First thing, after that, we can show them how the products work, how to use the products with other products that you have, push them into our SMS list. These are all strategies I'm about to show you. Now that we've spoken about flows, which are the specific automated messages that people are going to get when they take a certain action or when they fulfill certain criteria, we're now going to move on to campaigns, which are more blast emails. You're sending these to particular segments of your entire email list. You're going to be sending these more so as kind of blanket messages to a big portion of our list. So I'm going to click in here over to the campaign section of the account. And when you go in here and you create campaign, you open up an editor, you can select the name of your email campaign, you can put in whatever you want depending on the content of the email. You're going to select the date that you're going to do this for. We're just going to go save and continue. And really what I want to talk to you about is actually using evergreen content, which is a very key concept to understand if you're going to be doing email marketing, particularly for your campaigns. What you want to do is you want to base your campaign calendar based off of a lot of evergreen campaigns, which means these are campaigns which can sell, don't discount, and can be used at any time of year. An example of this would be, let's say, a gift guide. So you could use a gift guide at Christmas time, you could use it at Valentine's time, you could use it in summer, you could use it when you drop a new collection, but use it many times of year, it drives sales, and it doesn't discount whatsoever. You're just going to select a segment. These are some of the lists we have, and we're just going to come down into new subscribers, and we're just going to go continue to content. Within here, we're just going to select drag and drop for the email template. We're just going to take a template out of here. Normally you're going to make one for yourself. This one looks okay. We'll go for Valentine's Day. Love is in the air, 20% off. Looks very good. Now once you're in here, you're going to have editable sections. You're going to have your text blocks here. You're going to have a couple of buttons, and you can just edit the content as you see fit. You're going to go save, so we can save our content once we're happy with everything. We're just going to select a quick subject line. I've chosen love is in the air. Got a preview text as well. Grab 20% off for Valentine's Day, and you can see our email content looks good. So now we're going to go continue to review. Now as we go in here, we can just go schedule or send. We can schedule this for a fixed send time, so it's going to send to everyone at that time. Let's select it for the day before Valentine's Day, and we'll go for, let's say, 9 a.m. Now something you can do as you begin to send campaigns is you can go and split test these. So you can split test within the email content. You can decide on a send time, and you can just put these out for a good distance of time between one another, maybe 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. I'm going to select US Eastern. We can schedule that out, and now that is sent. Good examples of evergreen content would be, let's say, the myth campaign, the myth about our industry that other competitors would do, but we don't actually engage in. Gift guides, like I said, press releases show where we've been featured. We can show a letter from the founder, the brand backstory, a warehouse tour, how we design and make products. These are all things that can drive revenue, but are not actually going to be discounting from the price of the product. So we go back here to campaigns. We can see this is scheduled out for the 13th of February at 9 a.m. Eastern time. Finally, one thing that I want to show you here is segments. I'm just going to create a core segment that you're going to want to create inside your account. We're actually going to create a couple of these based on different engagement periods. They're super important to do. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to come over here, go create new, create a segment. Just going to name this one 90 day engaged. This is pretty standard. We're just going to choose what someone has done or has not done, and then we're just going to go opened email at least once in the last 90 days. We have or logic and logic. We don't want to use this one just yet. I'm going to show you why. What someone has done or has not done. Then we're going to go here. We're going to go clicked email at least once in the last 90 days. We're going to go or logic again. They're going to know what someone has done or has not done. Now, some of this might look quite interesting to you. I'm going to explain the logic behind it. So active on site at least once in the last 90 days. Place order at least once in the last 90 days. And finally, now we're going to go and logic. Someone can and cannot receive marketing. We're going to say they can receive marketing. You're going to look at these conditions questions. You're going to be like, why on earth do you have opened email or clicked email? Because surely you have to open an email in order to click it. But what happened in September of 2021 is that Apple released their iOS 15 update. This means that people using an Apple device, particularly those using Apple Mail on an Apple device, have their emails read as though they have opened them. What this does is that it inflates your open rates, so your open rate data is actually not as trustworthy as it used to be. So what can happen is that we may not be able to track someone's open, but it will track their click. If we have both of these in here, we're going to actually catch more people who are engaged. Finally, as well, we have active on site as a custom metric and then placed order as a Shopify metric. You might say, well, you have to be active on site in order to place an order, but really if you put both of these on, you'll actually see that a number more people get pulled in if you do both of these. Then finally, we're going to make sure that people can receive marketing. What we're just going to do really quickly is we're going to go and clone segment. What we're going to do is we're going to make two more of these. One that is super highly engaged, which is going to be our 14-day engaged. All we're going to do is we're going to come on here, we're just going to duplicate the segment, and we're just going to change all of the time parameters here. So I'm actually just going to copy that, go here all the way down for these four. It's the quickest way of building out these segments. The reason we want to do this is that if we ever have poor deliverability, this is a great segment to mail because it's going to artificially inflate our open rates. It's going to make us look like a really reputable sender to any sort of email inbox provider. Let's think Google, let's think Apple Mail, we'll think Hotmail. Now we're just going to clone this segment again. We're going to name this one 180-day engaged. These are going to be kind of your bread and butter segments. So I'm just going to take that 180, I'm just going to copy it, and I'm going to come down to all of these and done. We're going to go and clone the segment. That is basically it. You can find a link for Klaviyo in the description. You can click that, check out the platform, and use this guide to help you get the platform set up. You can click on this video right here to see the exact strategies that we put in place to scale that brand from 280k a month to $1.9 million a month in just 15 months.